televisions blowing up or anything.
Well, we have had some power losses though. Hey, it's 9, so I'm gonna hit this button, so we're gonna be known online as the San Carlos Computer Club. This is the official start. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions and the Walkabout Town Bed and Breakfast, where I'm broadcasting from now. And we're talking about weather, but I can't complain because we've just done like 3 days of sunshine. And we're hoping for one more today. It's beaming through the clouds. Hopefully it won't get wet again.
But there's no global warming.
No.
Climate change.
There's no climate change.
Well, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to San Carlos or Sonora news, but there is places just bursting into flames. And they're blaming the temperatures. The
saguaros are dying because it's too hot.
I was watching a couple of documentaries about the Arizona cactus, but oh my goodness, they can't even. It's not that the lack of water; it's that the moisture that is inside them is boiling and it's killing their flesh.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah, that's crazy. They're getting so hot. Yeah, internally combusting.
And then we had that giant haboob that went through San Carlos. So
it left my wireless internet with Juan slanted at a 45-degree angle. Yeah.
Loma Del Mar lost power for about 6 hours, I believe, and then they couldn't get water for a few days, and they were on kind of water rationing because our big Tanacos were getting lower for the people that spend the summer.
Well, out of the fires I was just mentioning, one of them was the dealership that sold us our car. I don't know if you saw that in Hermosillo.
I did not.
Yeah, the Hyundai dealership went up in flames. And there's a number of other buildings that have gone up, and what they're saying is that the wires in the walls are getting too warm and the insulator is melting.
Wow.
And they're chafing inside the walls, causing fires.
We just had the Kia dealership burst into flames here. They I don't know that they really said it was because of all the electric car batteries or not, but that was one of the earlier theories, that because it was so hot.
Hey, Bill's on camera.
Hey, Bill.
Hey. Well, Chester's not with us yet. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
In my nose, so I could put the camera back on.
Oh, there you go. Well, it looks like the gang's all here. We're missing Chester at the moment, and I know my folks are busy this morning, so they're not going to join us. I'll stick our document in our chat here in case anybody's interested in the topics that I've brought to the table. But it's got kind of a general theme. Oh, and from last week we were talking about some stuff. I was curious how Bill and Cheryl's Fire TV is now. Were you able to get it working?
Yes. Now, I've been watching it, and last night I went to watch Netflix, and it did this whole wiggle around where I had to, what did they call it, Bill? Designate this device or something, or activate it, or add it to our family. Something.
Oh, this is the new. Yeah, this is what Netflix is doing right now, is they gently guide us into this world where they're going to be stopping you from sharing your passwords. What their first step has been is making the owner of the account verify that the device, the new device that's trying to sign up to that account, is authorized as part of the family. And I went. Yeah.
It was funny because the night before I was watching it, Netflix, no problem. So was it something that they did on July 31st? Because all of a sudden, like the next day, I had to verify the account, and we had the wrong phone number in there, so I had to change that. But then that took 3 steps of verification to change the phone number, so that then they could send us the code. Like, it was just another one of those.
I believe then this is necessitated by updates in software. So you could be using Netflix just fine one night, and then the next day you've got to sign back in, and included with that is identifying your device as being authorized, which you can only do by going to the website with a computer. You can't just sign in with your device. You have to actually go to the website and authorize this device to be allowed to use the Netflix account.
Well, Bill was able to do it with his phone because there was a QR code thing that he could take, and yeah, but I had to re-put in passwords and stuff like that. But then I came back on. One of the things we were wondering about is how dark the pictures would be, because we were finding it very dark on our old TV, and it seems to be a little bit better.
Okay. Well, I was really more curious about Streamio. You're trying to install with dev options, and I'm curious if that got put together and working correctly.
Streamio is working. We tried to watch a couple of things, and it was taking forever to load them. I think they're too new, the ones that we were trying to watch. So we have not successfully watched one, but I think it's because of what we were trying to watch. It is there. It's a totally different layout. I don't find it as easy to find.
Oh, really? I enjoy the new layout.
Okay.
But go ahead.
But like,
oh, and hi, Chester. Chester's with us.
It's a long way down from the 4Ks to one that we usually watch, you know. So.
Oh, well, you know, what you can do, I mean, you're talking about the quality, the selection of qualities that are, that the results.
Yeah.
And in that Torrentio plugin, you can specify the to make certain formats unavailable.
Oh, so like the web rips and the, yeah, okay.
That's right. So like anything that's cam, you can put a check mark saying, I don't want to see that. Anything that's 4K, I don't want to see that. And it'll speed up your result time, and you won't have to go digging through all those results.
So I have to get to the add-on to do that.
Well, probably the easiest way to do that is to go to that Torrentino or go to Streamio, the website, and access the add-on from there. Make the changes, and then those will synchronize with your other Streamio installs. That's probably the easiest way to deal with it.
We'll get on that.
Yeah.
We.
Well, is Bill listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. I know what "we" means.
Well, good morning. I saw Chester jumped on. How are you doing this morning? Has anybody brought any of their own topics? The only other thing I have from follow-up is we were talking about PayPal and tax withholding in the United States. And this morning I actually found the PayPal announcement that goes into great detail of why they would be withholding how much. It's a high percentage. It's like 24% of your income through PayPal will be held if you achieve. This isn't $600 transactions. This is in total more than $600. And you are a U.S. citizen. They will, if you have not identified yourself as a taxpayer with your taxpayer ID number, they are going to automatically send to the IRS 24% of the money you receive. Now, they say that this excludes friends and family, just gifting money through PayPal. This is things that are designated goods and services, but they're going to be. And they're not going to give you that money back. You're going to have to get it back from the IRS. Chester, go ahead.
If what you say is correct, and I haven't read what I read is something different, but if what you say was correct, PayPal will go out of business.
Yeah, no, I think in conjunction with the Fed now thing that's happening, there's a very good chance they've got a horrible position. And Chester, my documentation is from PayPal. This is in fact I'll switch over to my screen here where this article takes us after it loads up. But the
Yeah, what I read last week was from, well, not was from it, but it had to do with Form 1099. Had nothing to do with withholding. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, here it is in the first paragraph from PayPal.com. Once you receive $600 in payments for goods or services within a calendar year, tax laws require us to withhold 24% of such payments. And then as you get farther down here, it says this 24% is sent to the IRS as backup withholding for any potential income tax due on those payments.
And that'll put them out of business.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad position to be in this day and age of instant payments.
I mean, if you sold an automobile, for example, 24%, and it doesn't take into account your cost basis, you may never get that back.
Well, if you sold a used vehicle, do you have to declare it as income?
Well, that's why if they have to withhold 24% of every sale,
Right.
then that would be automobiles, houses, anything else that's sold on
Well, they're
Facebook.
saying the accumulation of transactions over $600.
I know, but
So it doesn't have to be a car. It could, it could be a couch.
yeah, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars that are withheld, which doesn't take into account your what they call basis, which is your cost, and
Yeah.
that would just put them out of business.
No, I think you're right. I mean, like going back to the selling a used car example, what we know is you don't want to do it across PayPal because you'll be fighting to get that money back.
Right, that's right. You wouldn't. Well, first of all, excuse me for coughing. There are many professional sellers. That sell thousands of items. I'm sorry.
Do you need a moment, Chester? Come back when you're feeling better. Yeah, this is really strange, and they say it's because of U.S. tax law. They give you some exemptions if you're not U.S. tax liable.
That's
So
not.
Go ahead.
That's not U.S. tax law.
Oh, that's what they say here at the top of the. I mean, PayPal is saying this. They're saying this is because of
They can
U.S.
say
tax
anything.
law.
That's not U.S. tax law.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely no expert in it, so I don't know. I think that PayPal would be pussyfooting around this whole topic because it's in their bad interest, and they're the ones disclosing this horrible news.
But who does it affect really?
Well, it affects my bed and breakfast business.
But you pay taxes, so it doesn't affect you.
Well, I do. You're right, because
Yeah.
I have identified myself as a
That
U.S.
is
taxpayer.
my point right
Yeah,
there. That
right.
is the point.
So what you're saying is this is really penalizing people that aren't playing along.
It's kind of like I read about eBay and how people who are breaking in and stealing things are selling their products and all those sites like that. They're trying to get a handle on that particular market as well.
Yeah.
Illegal transactions.
Illegal transactions. Well, and there might be something to that as far as this is really going to hurt people that haven't bothered to identify themselves as taxpayers. And
no, this will also hurt anyone, whether they're honest or not. It will hurt anyone who sells anything on PayPal. The page
Chester, but you don't think that Judy's point is valid? Like if I sold a couch, well, basically I've got more than $600 of income on my PayPal account through the bed and breakfast. If I wasn't identified as a legitimate taxpayer with my ID on PayPal, then they would be setting aside my income right now and giving it to the IRS. Now, shouldn't I, as a business and as a legitimate taxpayer, identify myself to a service that's a clearinghouse of money?
Yeah, let me respond to it. I think Judy is right in the sense that there are people who do not report their sales of service and products. But there are also many, many and more legitimate people who sell products and have a cost in those products that needs to be deducted before they pay any tax. And they also get a standard deduction in their tax return. So there could be substantial people, I mean, by the millions, that this would affect, that would be unreasonable to affect because it doesn't take into account their cost. Just like in your business, if they withheld 24% of everything that you collect, but that doesn't take into account your cost of running the business. So your income tax, your taxable income from that business is substantially less than what you take in. And so you got 24% going to the government, and that may far exceed your profit and the tax on your profits. So this is just...
But Chester, all that being true, I mean, all that is absolutely true. Isn't the point that if you identified yourself with your taxpayer ID to this payment service, they're not going to withhold that money? You're going to still do your taxes the way you normally do your taxes. You're going to have the opportunity.
I didn't hear that in what you read.
No, that was the point. That's the whole point of this, is that you must identify yourself as and I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but that's what we were talking about last week. And that's what this is saying, is that they are going to give 25% of your income to the IRS if you have not identified yourself with a taxpayer ID.
So if you give them a taxpayer ID, they won't withhold the 24%?
That's correct.
But they will file a 1099 at the end of the year, which the IRS will pick you up on that.
There is nothing in this article about the 1099, but again, this is a document from PayPal explaining this $600 and tax ID issue.
Yeah, the 1099 was last week, and we discussed it, and it was a PayPal issue because PayPal had changed the annual amount before they have to file a 1099. A 1099 alerts the government that you have income, or you have not necessarily taxable income, but that you have received income. And,
okay. Yeah, right. I get it. Yeah, like PayPal is disclosing to the government how much money's come into your account.
Yes, and that's called a 1099, and that used to be, up until this year, that was $20,000 or 200 transactions. Now they changed it from I think from $20,000 to $600. That was the 1099 question, and that made sense. But this does not make sense.
I've got I asked a question on the internet about this. Will I have to pay taxes when sending and receiving money on PayPal? What exactly is changing? The new threshold change is only for payments received for goods and services transactions.
Yes.
So
that's what this article says.
Right. This does not include things like paying your family or friends back using PayPal.
That's right.
That's
correct.
And it says that all companies, all payment processors, including PayPal, are required to provide information to the government.
I'm looking at PayPal's disclosure of what you were talking about, Chester. And you're absolutely right. They have lowered it to $600
Right.
for a 1099, whereas before it used to be $20,000.
And that's universal throughout business. The 1099 and the $600 is universal.
Sure.
Except that does not apply to goods. It applies only to services.
Oh, interesting.
Do you think that this change has come about because of money laundering and all of those issues, though?
No, I don't think so. It's
Really?
too broad and too big to encompass just that. It's far in excess of anything like that. I think what you're going to find is you're going to get a new correction. I mean, that is just horrendous. And you're going to get a new correction in the mail.
Well, what does that mean, Chester? I don't understand.
Well, they can't withhold 24% on every transaction of goods and services because it doesn't take into account the seller's cost. And therefore, there would be a substantial amount, too much going to the government that may never get recovered.
Well, again, I kind of agree with Judy. I think they're using it as a penalty for not disclosing your tax identification information.
Well, you can use, yeah, that could well be. But
like you said yourself, that's not tax law. That they're blaming tax law, but what they're saying specifically is we're going to bundle that up and send it to the IRS unless you tell us who you are by giving us your tax ID number.
I don't think that's tax law.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know. I'm just saying that.
Well, I'm no longer a CPA, and I haven't been for many, many years. But I just cannot believe that's tax law.
Well, I know our accountant is always pulling her hair out every year by the amount of changes that happen each year now. So who knows? Maybe it is tax law, or at least the way PayPal's interpreting it.
See, also there are also a lot of foreign sellers on eBay that this would affect.
Well, and PayPal says in that original article that there is a way to file exemptions by verifying that you're not U.S. tax liable. I'm trying to use their language.
And I still think it's disastrous, and I think you'll find a clarification coming.
Well, I'm putting both these links in our document in case somebody wants to follow up on this stuff. We'll continue to watch it because it directly affects my business, so I'm curious what's going on.
It also seems like it's going to be a real nightmare for these companies, not just PayPal, but all of them. I mean,
and what about for enforcement?
Yes, exactly, a nightmare.
Well, what you should do is go ahead and give them your taxpayer ID number.
Oh yeah, no, I have. Yeah, absolutely. It's not. That is no, because we can't afford to have that much income disappear and be withheld. That's not the way a real business functions. 24% is a ridiculous amount to just have sitting in the government hoping they'll give it back.
Well, this may be law that is passed by Congress and it slipped by me and I didn't see it, but I really question it, that they can do what they're doing. But of course, a casino can do it.
Say that again. What can a casino do?
A casino can withhold from your earnings if you exceed their threshold, and that is per day, not per year. But
you're talking about like when they go to give you your winnings, they can just cut out the tax liability right from the beginning?
If it exceeds their threshold, and I think the threshold of most of them is $3,000. So if you have winnings in excess of $3,000, they can withhold, I think, 20%.
Actually, it's this minute. What is it? 1,299. Yeah, as soon
Cheryl
as
knows.
yeah. So as soon as we play a couple of poker machine games, and their royal pays. That's what it is. 11.99, because as soon as you hit 1,200, they have to collect 30% tax.
It may vary by casino.
That's, as I understand it, the U.S. tax law, and because we're Canadian, it doesn't matter. We have to have it withdrawn.
Well, that's interesting. That's a circumstance where you don't have any. Even though you don't have a U.S. tax liability, you still lose that 30%.
No, what I do is I have an international tax number. It's called an ITN, and I can file a tax return, and I show gambling losses as well as wins, and I show that I have no other income in the United States, and they refund it all back.
I had a friend that used to go to the track, and he'd pick up losing tickets off the ground, and when it came time for his taxes, he'd show the losing tickets, and he always seemed to lose more than he won.
Yeah. Well, every casino will give you a win-loss statement for the year. So we've got things to prove that we've gambled. We haven't had one of those in about the last, we haven't filed taxes in 5 years, so in the States. So we haven't had any wins over 1,200.
That's all very interesting. When you're doing game machines like that, Cheryl, how do you keep track of your losses?
It's coin in, coin out. Like we play with a card in the machine. So
okay, I got you. No, of course. Yeah, I forgot that's the way things work now, is with a card. That makes it possible.
In our own, every time we go into the casino, I keep a spreadsheet on my phone. How much we put in, how much we cashed out, how many comps we received in that casino, and at the end of our time in Vegas in the spring or in the fall, I can tell you how much we're up or down or.
What's important is to keep a contemporaneous record of your gains and losses, not do it at the end of the year.
Yeah, we do it daily.
Yeah.
No, that's fascinating. And of course, with modern technology now and all the machines using cards, there's just an automatic record that's happening.
Yeah, but if you go to many casinos, like you go to 100 casinos in a year, now what?
Well, a lot of them are affiliated. So our one card will give us the record from all of the different casinos that they're affiliated with. And they print off at the end of the year, or they compile. Like I can go back 5 years in each of the casinos.
You can tell I don't go to casinos.
Online, I can log into my account and I can get all the casinos.
Well, that's interesting. No, that's a whole area of income expenses and that I've never even considered. And I like Fred's story of his friend picking up losing tickets. That's really funny. Have we got any other topics that we've brought to the table today?
One further comment.
Oh, sure.
On Fred's story that is fraud.
Yeah. And it was just published on.
I wonder if you could even do that anymore. Fred, do you know anything about the track? Do you have to identify yourself as you're gambling? Is Fred's still with us? Maybe Fred's not with us.
Still here.
Oh,
No, I've never. I played the track one time, but I
okay.
have that was there every day, and that's what he told me he did.
Yeah, you think about where we are right now with technology in this modern times, it's hard to imagine that you're not being identified through all this. Like, not only would it be fraud, you'd probably get caught at it.
Well, from what I understand, if, unless you're up thousands or something like that, they're paying you in cash.
Right. Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, let me comment on the most famous tax case of all time.
Okay.
The most famous tax case that every accountant learns is that the IRS is very clever. And there are many stories, but one that stands out is they were examining a house of prostitution in Nevada. And of course, they had no way to prove the income for the house of prostitution. So they found out who did their laundry, and they went to the laundry and counted towels.
Well, that might also be like a point of quality control as well. It's like if you got a lot of traffic and few towels, that might be a pretty revolting place to be in. That is funny though. Counting towels. Well, for myself, I've just brought 3 different news articles that I thought were somewhat interesting. 2 of them have to do with government stuff, regulation with government. The first one on the list is just about Twitter. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's been rebranded X. That app has showed up automatically in all our phones that download automatically. So one morning we woke up and we had a big black X, but it's still Twitter. Is there anybody using Twitter these days? There's no jumping up and down in our group.
Bill says yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made an effort to switch over to something else. I'm still getting the news feeds that I want off of it, so I've stuck with it for now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we use as an alternative. Facebook has been pushing the new Threads app, which is apparently a Twitter clone that I have not looked at, but they are de-emphasizing real-time news in it. So it's kind of a Twitter clone in form only because they're emphasizing brands and family stuff. So like if you're following Coca-Cola or you're following your grandmother, that's where you'd find it in a Twitter form, is in Threads. But I believe I am not alone in feeling like the thing that gave Twitter so much power was the real-time global communication and conversation, the breaking news that people would give across it. And if Facebook is shying away from that, it still leaves open a hole to be filled by that need. Personally, I have leaned into Tumblr more. At the very least, when we go online, an announcement goes out on a Tumblr blog that we're online, just like on Facebook, that we're having a meeting. But I cannot find something that is as satisfying as the Twitter feed that I set up for myself. And I'm having one of the places that I've gone for news for years is Reddit. And there's a lot of controversy happening in Reddit right now that makes me want to not be involved in that platform. So I look around and I'm kind of at a loss for real-time breaking news from individuals' opinions. Like Twitter has given us. Twitter has given us this ability to follow people that we respect as they pass out news and information as it's happening in the moment. And there just doesn't seem to be a good replacement right now.
Well, when I use Twitter, I'm a what do you call it, a lurker or a ghost. I almost never post or retweet anything. So as a news feed, it seems to work so far. Like they haven't screwed it up bad enough that it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, what will screw it up is alienating the users. And I don't mean you. I don't mean users. I mean not the consumers, but the content providers. Did you guys see Elon lit up an X sign on the Twitter? I'm trying to bring up
Yes,
the
and
video.
now it's gone.
It's gone now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
heard
took
that
it down.
it violated city ordinances.
He didn't get a
Giant
permit.
flashing X sign removed from Twitter's San Francisco headquarters.
Yeah, he just didn't get a permit.
In classic Elon fashion, he didn't get a permit. Giant flashing X sign. I saw all these videos go across. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Oh, come on, this damn cookie thing all the time. So there's these videos going across the internet showing this flashing X lighting up the neighborhood. I hope that opposing building is just an office building.
If you're looking for a format for news, I have a recommendation.
Sure. What would you recommend for breaking news?
It's what I use every day, and that's the online printing of the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, but you subscribe to that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Costs about 30 cents a day.
I've been reading HuffPost.
Does that have a paywall? I don't remember.
No. Well, the part I look at, I don't pay for.
Yeah. I had an interesting experience last week where I had a Business Insider's article that I got off of a newsletter I receive every day. And by the time I was sharing it with you guys, it was hidden behind a paywall. And I went and Googled the title and found the exact same article to the letter reproduced on Yahoo News, freely available.
And that's what happens if you see the Apple news that comes across. You can always go and find those same articles. Well, almost always go and find those same articles free of charge. I refuse to pay for a news article, so I won't take the local paper. I won't do any of that stuff.
Well, with every advertisement you're subjected to, you have paid for that news article.
Exactly. Why do I need to fork over cash?
Oh, look at that. Hey, it must be an interesting meeting because we're starting to run out of time already. Lost track. Call will end in 15 minutes.
15. That's
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Well, the other two articles that I bring to the table have to do with government regulation over technology mostly. The first one here is a Vox article that's very extensive, goes into the background of the Biden administration's position on AI, and the kind of legislation they would like to put forward. But it looks like it's moving so slow that they're considering a executive order to rein in some of what they consider out of control AI development. Seems like they're
I thought
classic.
those 5 points were quite good.
Can you reiterate them? I was reading them this morning, and I've lost it.
My recollection from a few days ago is that those 5 points are fairly good.
As far as regulating AI?
Yeah, you can read them there. They were just, go back up and you'll see it. I think, right there.
Oh, I think these are different articles. How to set boundaries. Yeah, these are different articles in Vox.
Well, of course, I read that in the Wall Street Journal where they detailed their points, and there were about 5 of them, and I thought they were all very good.
Yeah, there is. What they're really saying in this article has to do with the 7 AI companies making this informal commitment to be safe and secure and trustworthy. And you really have to wonder, the self-regulating stuff always seems to slow down the process of actual regulation. And so even though they're making this public commitment, the Biden administration is pursuing legislation. But what's interesting is they've had testimony from this Sam Altman, the guy that's in charge of OpenAI. And what's become clear is that both sides politically are really considering an agency for regulating AI specifically, but technology in general. Many people in Congress feel like technology happens way too fast and they're always behind the curve. Congress can't possibly keep up with it, and that they need an agency that will specifically regulate and enforce. They actually, during these and you'll read this in this article, during these hearings, they actually asked Sam if he'd be interested in leaving his company and forming an agency, which he declined. They say in the article that his company right now is valued at $29 billion. So he probably doesn't want to go work for the government. No thoughts from anyone out there? You're not concerned about Skynet taking over and sending Terminators back to us? Well, what's really funny, if you read this article, if you know anything about the way American government works, is that there are statements from the current administration talking about how they've asked all facets of agencies already to be working on this problem. And then they list them, and it's things like the FCC, these agencies that can barely do what they're doing now, being asked to apply their regulations and enforcement to this new concept. The patent, I never have the words when I want to talk. The patent agency that's supposed to keep track of IP and recognize violations in patent holders has
Just
been
wait.
asked.
Just wait to get 88 years old.
Yeah, thanks, Chester. I see where I'm going already. I'll be happy to debate an 88-year-old. I don't know about somebody my own age, though.
I do question something you said, though.
Oh, please.
You said knowing how the government works. Mm-hmm. I would rephrase that to knowing how the government doesn't work.
Right. Well, you think about FDA, and you think about the Patent Office. You think about the way these, even the IRS, they're fortifying right now because it doesn't work to the best of its ability. It just feels like they can barely keep up with what's going on. So to tax them, or to even politically have a position that we've already got agencies in place that can take care of this, just seems laughable.
I got a letter yesterday from the Internal Revenue Service saying that I had made a mistake on my tax return, but after they made their examination, they didn't owe me any tax and I didn't owe them any tax. And the error was theirs. They put the decimal in the wrong place on a number.
So are you saying that earlier they were expecting money from you, and then they determined, no, that wasn't the case?
They used the details in the tax return and came out with the same answer that I had on the tax return. But in one of the numbers on the taxes that had been paid, they had a decimal off by 2 points.
Cheryl, what are you sharing with us? What is this?
First of all, Chester, off by 2 points on the decimal is quite significant sometimes. Anyways, what I'm sharing with you is, speaking of technology, this is a first for us. We have enlisted the services of an auction house, and we're selling off some of our antiques and junk from our garage, from Bill's parents' estate, my parents, some of it from our own, and it got posted today. So it's an online auction. They were here for 3 days and putting lots together, assigning descriptions to them. And today they posted them. The bids will be accepted for 2 weeks. And then they will have 2 days timeline that they can come and pick up their auctions items.
Okay, as a side note here, my daughter, who has told us many, many times to get rid of all that junk so I don't have to, as soon as the auction went up, immediately found 3 or 4 things that she really, really, really wants.
Oh, I just found the telephone and video and vintage movie cameras.
Yes, well, they're not movie, and I've told them that they have to change that to film. But that's what we're doing this morning, is very busy trying to explain to them, no, that's not what that is. Those are not ladies' bike boots. Those are men's and ladies,
So, Scott, the telephone works. You just plug it into a phone line and it works fine. It's the
only one we had.
Assuming that the network supports pulse dialing.
Well, yeah, and most of them still do. And the fun part is to give it to your grandchildren or your children and have them dial a number on it.
Right. That's great, though. That's just a real flashback.
Yeah.
I remember being in grade school when they switched to touchstone, and I remember being in the office of my grade school, and the secretary was complaining that they put the numbers upside down. She was a tin key person, and she was mad that when they put out the touchstone phone, they had them upside down. Hey, a foosball table.
Yeah.
Does that $10 bid include shipping?
No, there's a little note about shipping on the top.
And only the very smallest of items could be considered to be delivered to San Carlos.
Oh, okay. I guess we're not getting a foosball table. Well, very cool. So, out of curiosity, what percentage does the auction house take?
Well, first of all, there's a $10 per lot fee. So that included them coming and putting the lots together, taking the pictures, publishing them. So that's $10 each item. And
$10 each item. So when somebody bids $10,
each lot, like
right.
one of the lots is a collection of things, and so it's $10 for that lot. And one of the lots is a trailer. And there's some farm implements on page 4 and stuff like that. But anyways, and then it's 20% on most bids and 15% on the vehicles, because we've got a motorbike in there and we've got a travel trailer.
Well, and then there's another cost on the other side. Bidders have to pay a percentage as well, the buyers.
Say that again. They have to pay a percentage of.
Yeah, the buyers. It's the opposite side of the commission on our side. They pay a certain percentage. I'm not sure what it is. It's like 10 or 15%. If they bid $1,000, it's $150 on the bidding fee. So they get you coming and going.
And how long,
that doesn't
how
sound
long
very
does
fair.
your auction stay active?
2 weeks. 2
2
weeks
weeks.
today. So 6 p.m. on the 15th.
And did you have to sign a disclosure that you can't sell afterwards, or?
No,
Yes.
like if it
No,
doesn't sell
afterwards, if
it's
it
ours.
doesn't sell in the thing, it's ours to dispose of or do whatever we want with
Well,
it.
that's not a bad deal. You're getting publicity on it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is we keep saying we got to get rid of this stuff, and we kind of fool around trying to sell it on the internet, on Facebook or something, and never sell anything. This time it's going to be gone, most of it. It's just gone, and that suits me fine.
Yeah, just giving it, making it somebody's job to deal with getting rid of all that stuff. The inventory, the pictures, the descriptions, getting it out there for you takes such a burden off of you as an individual.
Yeah,
What I find
the guy running this whole thing said a lot of this stuff. Think of it as somebody taking it away. They're going to bid on it. They bid a minimum price. You don't get much for it, but they're going to take it out of you there,
right.
and
they'll haul it off for you
rather than us haul it to the dump or to the thrift stores or whatever. It's gone, and that. He says you got to think of it that way.
I've definitely felt like that's what Craigslist is great for.
Except that, like, I've been using Facebook Marketplace. Like, I advertised a lot of this furniture last year. We've had the trailer up for sale for 2 summers, 2 camping seasons. And you get different people come, or you get different people comment, and the things that they say, and then they've got you Messenger, and they're sending messages back to you, and you've got this overpriced, and what do you think you're doing? Like it's really harassment, So I've decided I'm not using that marketplace anymore.
Not only that, is people say, "Oh yeah, I'll come and take. I'm going to take that," and never show up.
Yeah.
It's just constantly fighting with people, trying to get them to come and take it away.
Well, I encourage you to use Craigslist because you don't deal with any of that kind of garbage. Anybody that's interested will contact you, and anybody that's not will just leave you alone. We post things for free on Craigslist all the time, and just say it's out at the corner of the house. It's just sitting there. Come get it.
Yeah,
well, we use Kijiji more here in Canada. I don't think Craigslist is very popular here, but Kijiji is.
Yeah.
But in Mexico, you don't even have to post it. You just put it out by your front door gate, and it disappears. Within a day, it's gone.
I mean, it definitely depends on what it is. I think I might have told you the story of when I put a really decent CRT. It looks like we're about to lose this conversation. Let's start up this other meeting, and I will see you guys over there. Dun, 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 dun. Almost. Here we go. That one is gone. Hello. Is that all of us? Oh, I'm having that same problem again. I have no audio. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
I can hear you guys.
Beck's Auction has a few antique stores in the Edmonton area, and they said that some of his store managers will probably be bidding on the things in this sale. So to be resold.
Wow, good job. So they will actually come, and you don't have to worry about packaging it up or anything unless you're mailing it to someone.
Well, I tell you what, now they would take care of mailing or whatever like that. But these two young people showed up here, and I feel like I did most of the organizing. They could have paid me a few times, and they used my pictures and stuff, because talk about slower than molasses and what I would call lazy. And they let the 75-year-old move stuff. They didn't do it themselves. So when it comes time to distributing it and everything, I'm saying that we're going to sit in our chair and watch. But we'll have to see what happens.
But that's included in your fee that they're going to. So if somebody buys that something that they can put in a box,
Yes,
they will come and box it up for you.
they will be in our home from 11 till 7 for 2 days and distributing it to the people that bought it.
Oh, wow.
And then we won't see any money for another 3 weeks after that. So, you know,
How about the tractor?
the tractor, they're supposed to either arrange to pick it up themselves. And Bill
I
says,
refuse to try to lift that tractor up.
Can you get it boxed for an Amazon shipment?
Yeah.
there you go.
It's really a
We-
cool looking tractor. I do like it. And I like the farm implements too.
Yeah.
Well, I call them acreage lawn ornaments.
Yes. I've got some. I've got a hand plow and I have 2 hand plows, and they're
Well, these plows are actually operational. They will work if you hook onto them and pull them.
with the
but-
tractor.
No, the tractor was running, but it's been sitting so long, and I haven't got it running. So it turns over. It's not seized. It will run. It's just not running at the moment. And I'm not about to pay somebody to come and fix it.
All right, where do I find the tractor? I don't
Next
see it in the
page.
list.
I think you have to go to the next page.
It's a pretty blue one. It's
Very
a
nice
Ford,
tractor.
it's a Fordson Major. It's a nice tractor. 3-point hitch. It's got a front end
Oh, there it
loader
is.
if you want.
And then there's the little kids one that you can ride on, like a toy tractor, and some Tonka toys.
Right there. There it is.
Okay,
And the plows. Yeah.
very cool.
And Tonka trucks. Look at the Tonka trucks.
And
Yeah,
they're the metal ones. They're not the plastic ones.
yeah. There's got to be a collector out there that would take and clean those up and repaint them.
Yeah.
No, you don't repaint them.
No repaint.
No?
No.
You
No,
leave
no.
them just the way they are. You wreck them if you repaint them.
Leave the
Okay.
rust on them.
Well, we'll see, because right now nobody's bidding on them, so we don't really know if they have any value.
Well, we're still making some
Well,
changes.
it's only been up for a couple hours. It won't start getting interesting until the second half of the second week.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I see the
When you
trailer
get-
here.
I'm hoping for bidding wars for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You can get bidding wars going.
Yeah.
You want people to fall in love with what they're trying
That's
to
what an
buy.
auction is.
Now, back up. That orange fire extinguisher.
Is that what
it
that
was
is?
here when we bought it. It's an old airport fire extinguisher. It's on wheels, you know. It's a
Yeah.
big 50-pounder or something. But it was always fun, Mike. It's full and it's charged. So you pull the pin and you hit the lever and it goes kawoosh. And my
What's it
grandchildren
full
love
of?
that. Fire retardant.
All right.
It's a
that
chemical.
white powder that's in every fire extinguisher.
Okay.
But it makes a beautiful, lovely noise, and it's strong enough. It'll kick that thing over if you're not hanging on to it. It's awesome. But it's
So have you
absolutely useless.
recharged it at times?
What's that?
Have you recharged it at times?
No, it's always
You're just
the only
screwing
time
around with
every,
it.
I just kick it on you like for a half a second, or once every 2 years or something. So it's never run out.
Okay.
There's what you need, Scott. Is that blue tent?
A tailgate tent. What the hell is that?
Well, you let
I
your
don't have a
tailgate.
Honda anymore.
Well, it doesn't matter. It'll fit it. It'll fit it. Anything that's got a tailgate that lifts up.
Okay. I do have that
And
car.
it's got you set it up and you back your car up to it. There's a big hole, magnetic strips that hold it onto your car, and you've got a complete living room, big tent. When you're
What makes this any different than just a tent? How do you?
Well, you can close it down so that you can drive away from it. But if you have it up, it magnets to the back of your vehicle.
Yeah.
You have the tent, your car
And
open. You can
this is the front end of it. The hole that the car fits in is at the back side of that.
Ah, okay. All right. So we can't really tell. Oh, I see. There is a car connected to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, and you can kind of see through the door that there is extra living space in the back of the
God, yeah, there's
hatchback.
lots of, it's big.
Yeah.
It's big enough to set up a couple camp chairs and sit in there, or a table.
That's cool.
There's it's called a 6-person, but anyways, there's a YouTube video of it being set up and used. So I asked them to include it, but they haven't done that yet. So.
Very cool. Going through Bill and Cheryl's crap for sale.
But the technology part is that all of the bidding, all of the payment, everything is going to be online. These people are virtual. If they want to make appointments to come and see the trailer or the bike or anything, they can do that in the 2 days at the end of the auction, like on the 13th and 14th of August. So
yeah, we're not committed to being here at any time.
Beck Auctions is where you are doing this online.
That's the auction company. Yeah.
Now, do they have quite a presence? I've never heard of them.
No,
and this is so different than like going to an eBay where like people would know to find stuff.
Yeah. People that follow auctions will follow Beck Auctions. They are Alberta wide. It probably our province. People kind of thing. And I'm not sure where they publish it. Like I'm sharing it on Facebook and they will share it on their sites.
Yeah, it kind of feels like because it's not an eBay, there's some real distribution of information that needs to happen. You need to be publishing it out there so that people can see this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But very cool. At least it's all in one place and you can pass a link to people on social media.
Yeah.
Hey, what was Gigi? You were telling, is that Craigslist for Canada? What is that?
Kijiji.
Kijiji. How do you spell it?
K-I-G-G. What is it?
I am so wrong. I have got such a horrible spelling. K-I-G-I-G-I? Is that it? K-I-J-I-J-I?
K-I.
Yeah, you know what? Google Docs just corrected it.
Yes.
Google, I put in K-I-G-I-G-I and it said I spelled it wrong. And I looked at the correction and it's JJ, right?
It says Canada's #1 local classified. It's always been the one we go to. K-I-J-I-J-I.
That's interesting.
It's got a for free section. It's got an automotive, and you can go by provinces.
There it is. Buy, sell, save with Canada's #1 something.
Yeah.
Most popular free local classified section. Look at that. I've never even heard of it. You miss out on this stuff when you're not in Canada. Craigslist really did away with the classifieds. And Kijiji in Canada. Well, I have only got one other article here that I thought was interesting simply because the other day we were talking about the state of Massachusetts putting forth legislation to protect people's data from being sold. And now there is an act put together by the House Judiciary Committee to bring together a federal law in the United States to protect people from having their data sold to government agencies. This is a law this is a bill that the idea is that no government agency should have the ability to buy from a data broker information about the citizens. They have to get a warrant before they start doing any of these searches, which apparently they don't need right now because we don't have any data protection laws really in the United States, and all this information is up for sale. And so I felt like this kind of went hand in hand with that bill that was going through Massachusetts right now to protect location data from being sold.
This reminds me of a problem with PayPal in that article that you read. What if everybody gives them their social security number and they get hacked?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, your social security number has already been hacked 1,000 times. Those lists exist. I'm always surprised that we think that our social security number has any kind of real security because they've been hacked so many times. It's probably one of the least private pieces of information that exists. But this is the Fourth Amendment is not for sale act. And the idea is to at least regulate government agencies from being able to use these data brokers to buy information about you, forcing them to have a warrant before they start doing those kinds of investigations. But that's all I've got. That's all I've brought today. If you're not interested in that topic, then I got nothing left. So we're going to go back to looking at Bill and Cheryl's shit to sell.
You're going to tell us about the Barbie movie.
We saw the Barbie movie. Actually, that's right. And you know what? Maybe it should be on the recommendations list because it was surprisingly really well done. I'm putting it there now, Barbie. We did go in pink.
Did you see Oppenheimer yet?
We have not. Have you heard my one really good Barbie fact that I have to remind my whole crew about is that all of this Barbie hype is just that. It has been ginned up with $150 million marketing budget that is bigger than the amount of money they committed to making the movie in the first place. Mattel has thoroughly scrubbed this script. Every word in the script has been approved by Mattel. So this is a huge marketing campaign that's going on. But the movie itself was very good. It had very good messaging in it. It was very interesting. It was not the saccharine piece of content that I thought it would end up being. But it had some really good messages for this day and age.
And Yuya was definitely Barbie girl. I loved the shoes with the little pom-poms and the whole pink outfit. Were there very many people dressed at the Alaska Theater?
Well, there was us, but actually what we did is we opted to go to a really early showing. And by doing that, we were almost alone. There was probably another dozen people in the theater with us. That was it.
So, Scott,
yeah,
you have to own up. Those were your slippers she was wearing, weren't they?
No, but my outfit was all me.
I noticed there's a lot of color in that outfit. Yeah.
That was all me, and I wore it proudly for the rest of the day.
I have kind of a movie question.
Yes.
So I've noticed on the Wymus Cinemax site that there are no movies in English.
I saw somebody was asking about that. It seems like they're not writing it on their webpage anymore, but then people are going, and it is in English. It's usually the afternoon one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Always, yeah.
yeah, the latest release in the afternoon one theater is English. So, but you're right. It doesn't say that on the website anymore.
No.
So is this the case in the app as you're talking? I want to pull out the app and see if it's the same in the app.
Yeah. Yes. And on their webpage as well.
God, they have been so bad with the web page and app stuff. It's just ridiculous. We've looked at the website or looked at the app to go see a movie that was absolutely being done at a different time or a different day than what the website had told us. Well, wait a second. Okay, so I'm looking at the Barbie movie for today.
Yes.
And on
it?
the app, it's written subtitled or Spanish, which would tell me it's in English with subtitles or it's dubbed in Spanish.
Oh, and see, that to me meant that it was in Spanish with English subtitles.
No, they wouldn't do that in Mexico.
Okay, well, maybe we're having a issue with just the way it's worded. Maybe that's it.
Oppenheimer seems to only be available in subtitles.
Of course, it'll be off by the time I get there, and then I won't get to see it at all. So
I bet that's it, because that language that I just read to you is not the way it used to present on the website. It used to say English dub, Spanish dub, Spanish subtitles, and now it's just saying subtitles or Spanish. But yeah, I bet it's just a communications issue because they've changed their terminology. But it absolutely makes no sense for them. Like, they're not going to put a movie with English subtitles. There's just no reason for it.
that's true.
It would be gringos making the wrong assumption. So have we got any recommendations? I'm actually starting to run out of time here. I've got people looking for me. Do we have any recommendations besides the Barbie movie? Which is definitely worth watching. It is absolutely worth watching.
I actually subscribe to Stars so I can watch the current season of Outlander.
Okay. And you're enjoying that?
Yes.
I've never been able to get into that.
So they're $4.99 or something.
It's one of the best.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, you and I started it, watched a couple episodes years ago when it first started, and just never got into it. I never got into it.
I read all the books, so I really like historical fiction.
Anything else you'd like to share before we call this to an end, the San Carlos Computer Club meeting? Until next Tuesday, it's good to see you guys. I'm glad you're all out there still. I will be here next week, and we can do it again. Until then, everybody tech on.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. See you later, Paul. See you, Fred. See you, Bill. Adios, adios. Well, that's it. We did it again. That was the San Carlos Computer Club. We do this every Tuesday at 10 Arizona Sonoran time. Most of our affiliation is with the San Carlos, but as you can see, we're all in different places. Canada, Colorado, Alaska, California, Washington. None of us are in San Carlos at the moment, but it is still the San Carlos Computer Club in name. I'm Scott Stinson with International Computer Solutions, providing computer tips and tricks and help to anyone out there on the internet. Please feel free to join our meeting anytime you have an interest, and you can find our meetings at sccclub.org. If you need computer help, try Scott at internationalcs.net, and if you're looking for fun, check out scclub.org. Until next Tuesday, everyone out there in internet land, tech on.